Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Mutien Marie Wiaux podcast. I'm Belle.
And I am Larise. In our podcasts, we talk about different social issues. For our podcast today, we have the topic of zeal for service.
Do you know what Zeal for Service is? I heard it's related to LaSalle's core values. Can anyone confirm this?
Hi, can I add my thoughts and knowledge about the Lasallian Seal for Service?
Sure, go on.
So, first of all, it is a part of the three core values in LaSalle. What makes it important is that it is a value. Values are something that is considered desirable. I can say that promoting and practicing zeal for service is honorable since it is an active expression of one's faith. From what I have learned, it is created to help the less fortunate and the excluded. Basically, you are doing a task and fulfilling a calling when you offer services to them.
Wow, Lauren, that's a great explanation. This is one of the reasons why I believe in saying to give real service, you must add something which cannot be bought or measured with money. And that is sincerity and integrity.
Yes, I also do have the same thoughts, Belle. Now, I think we are ready to ask other people if they have experienced this already. Right, Belle?
Yes, Clarice, I think so too. I know we have a few friends that did services too. Summer and Sandro would like to share their experience of zeal for service.
Bring it on.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So let's say that prior to pandemic, siguro in elementary and high school, we would visit public schools, and then we would entertain the community, and we would donate stuff like clothes, books, and then the basic necessities. So to make everything more interesting, we encourage them to play games or ask them to perform. Other times, we invite them to our own school and we host events such as sports fests and Christmas parties.
It's great to hear about your experiences. Experiencing these events, how did you feel about being part of them?
It's something that I can't describe in words, but in a way, it fills up a sense of purpose and accomplishment because you're able to help these people. And um, I guess it's an experience that I can remember a lot, and I hope I can be involved in later on.
Now, let's ask Summer about her experiences.
Hi. So I have also done outreach programs in the past where I am actually a Girl Scout and I'm still monitoring one at the moment. But before, like a few years ago during high school, we did like outreach program each year where we fundraise money by selling some old newspapers or selling candies. Then we put some away on our own expenses and we put some away for our donations, which some of the programs we did are like helping cleaning some rivers. We really did like these mud balls. It was so memorable and spending time and playing with people when we also help people with disabilities to put smiles on their faces. And we also did donations to elderly and babies too.
Wow, you did quite a lot, Summer. What did you feel about it, and do you have a favorite one?
I feel really happy being able to help in my surrounding and seeing the smiles on their faces. Well, my favorite would be where we played with some kids and we played some games throughout the day.
That's nice. So, Daniel is also here. I heard your grandmother does these types of services too.
Yes, that's true. Let me tell you guys more about her. My grandmother has been a member of an organization called Ladies of Charity, AIC Philippines. She had always been religious. When I was younger, I was honestly so annoyed that we had to wake up at like 3 in the morning because we always attend Simbang Gabi.
How do you feel about your grandmother's religiousness now?
Well, I grew up seeing her serve the church and the community. Now I appreciate all she has been doing because I'm a lot like her now when it comes to volunteering.
That's very touching. Do you help your grandmother in any way for the church?
Well, I do help every now and then. My grandmother is actually the president of San Padre Pio Chapel in our hometown here in Pampanga. She'd love to share more about it.
Well then, shall we introduce our guest speaker in our video interview we did with her?
Well, let's all welcome my grandmother, Rodonia de Guzman.
Magandang hapon po, ako po si Belle at kasama ko ngayon ang mga kagrupo ko sa aming klase. Nandito kami para sa isang panayam tungkol sa inyong serbisyo sa inyong komunidad. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo sa aming podcast at maaari po bang i-record ang panayam natin?
Okay naman. Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you po.
So can you tell us about the work you do at San Padre Pio Chapel?
My work. I may have the title of being the president, but mostly volunteer work siya talaga. I oversee the construction, pagpapaganda ng chapel, organize mass holy events such as masses, novenas, processions, scheduling of visitation of the sick, if necessary, anointing of the sick. And also we distribute goods from donations, and I find means and ways to solicit funds for the maintenance and funding of our projects.
So, how did helping others impact your life po?
Seeing people in need actually humbled me. I'm so grateful that I have a happy and healthy family. Kaya nga pag nakakita ako ng people in need, as much as possible, I try to help para mabigyan sila ng konting ginhawa o saya, and to bring back those smiles. Ganon. And actually, kahit matanda na ako, it gives me It gives me a higher sense of purpose. And the joy that it brings, I think it's good for my health.
Did this have an effect on your perspective of service? If yes, how?
Okay, perspective.
Yes.
Of course, being of service allows you to meet new people, establishing new relationships. You see how they live their lives, the way of thinking, paano effect nila sa buhay nila. And actually, marami kang matututuhan sa kanila na pwede mong i-share o pwede mong i-apply sa life mo personally.
What does being of service to others mean to you?
Of service, I should say, pag magsa-service ka, it should be with humility and genuine. Dapat talaga genuine, and it is unconditional. Meaning you don't expect anything in return. Actually, maraming taong kahit na thank you lang, hindi nila alam sabihin eh. Para wag kang ma-disappoint, don't expect anything.
What do you like most about your job in the community po?
My job, actually, nag-enjoy akong to build and create a conducive environment for prayers and adorations, which includes yung maintenance ng surroundings, the surrounding itself and the chapel itself. Kasama na dun yung proper ventilation, good sound system, being able to disseminate and stir the awareness of the community sa mga services na pwedeng offer ng church, ng chapel sa community.
Okay po. In what specific aspect in San Padre Pio Chapel are you truly able to show your compassion towards those who are in need, such as the poor and the marginalized in our Filipino society?
We get to solicit donations. We distribute them personally para yung interaction mo sa kanila personalized din, and nararamdaman nilang na-acknowledge sila. Encouraging them to participate sa mga activities, at saka para yun, at saka masaya ka naman sa sarili mo, masaya ka pag nakikita mo yung mga attendees sa mga activities, participation nila nag-i-increase.
Are you willing to step down anytime soon from this position in your community in case of any personal or medical reasons, or would you serve in San Padre Pio Chapel until your last breath?
Actually, I'll be turning 69 this coming February 13. O, greet niyo naman ako ng happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday po.
Sabi nga nila, tumatanda na, senior citizen, marami ng mga nararamdaman ng mga aches, mga sakit, ganyan. Pero as the saying goes, the mind is willing but the body is weak. As long as my body permits, I'm willing to continue giving service to the community and to the chapel. Okay? Okay ba yun?
So, Matt, that's all the questions we have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you po.
Thank you
I hope
po.
Thank you po.
answering your questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Okay, thank you too.
Wow, what an insightful interview. I wonder why they don't call it an inter-C. I'll see my way out. Anyways, what I gathered from Mrs. Rodonia de Guzman in the video is that she seems to have deep compassion for people in her current occupation. Don't you think so, Loris?
Likewise, I believe we've heard numerous details surrounding Mrs. Rodonia de Guzman's personal experiences working inside the San Padre Pio Chapel.
Yeah, and all of these range from her ups and downs, the positive and the negative, and her own blessings and challenges in being a servant for Christ during all those years. That's a lot to take in.
Oh yeah, and by the way, do you guys think she will be staying there in the chapel to continue serving until maybe, her last breath?
Personally, I think from all the things we've heard from her in the interview, I believe she will resume her duty as a servant for others before God inside the chapel. What do you think, Belle?
You know what? My inner thoughts say the same as well. But regarding her future, I guess we'll never know.
Truly. But one thing we know for sure is that the selfless deeds she committed will never be taken for granted, especially through the people she has served and inspired in the past and continues to do so up to this day.
Now let's talk about the pandemic. Grabe, it's been 2 years now since the pandemic started. I miss being outside and going out with friends. How are you guys?
I know, right? I also miss the normal days. The days that we don't need to put our face masks and face shields on.
True. Before we did not need to worry when we went out because there's no COVID. Now it's so scary to go outside with the risk of getting infected, especially now because the virus is very contagious.
Yeah, the virus is very contagious, and yet every day we can see the frontline health workers are risking their health and life just to save the people and help our country go back to normal.
And you know, it's not just them, also the employees from other sectors like Grab riders, even though there's a pandemic, they still consistently deliver what people like us need because we're too scared to go out.
True. Because of the pandemic, there are also a lot of people who lost their jobs, right? Many people need help.
That's right, many people lost their jobs in just a short amount of time, and job loss leads to hunger and financial difficulties.
Yeah, the government and barangays also provide help to the people by doing community pantries and giving money.
Yes, and I also donated some sacks of rice and canned goods to our barangay to help the people.
Ooh, that's nice. How do you feel that you get to help the people by donating?
My heart felt happy and fulfilled because I was able to help them in my own little way of donating their needs, and I can see the smiles on their faces whenever they got the help.
That's nice, Laurice. With the interview and sharing of our experiences, I surely have grasped a lot of realizations today.
Same here, Belle, and I am quite sure that even our group mates here have gotten a thing or two.
Well, I'd like to hear from you guys.
I also do. Now let's give this moment for all of us to share our insights.
I'll start. I have learned that the Lasallian zeal for service can help a lot of people if we practice to apply it to our daily lives. Even in just simple ways, we can help those who are in need. For example, our interviewee, Mrs. Rodonia de Guzman, she devoted her service in the church and its people by helping in organizing donations, planning renovations, and other similar actions. She also said that when serving others, you shouldn't expect something in return. This interview made me realize that serving other people is aligned to our faith and calling. I believe that learning this value is an opportunity to connect and help those who are in need.
That's right, Lauren. In addition to that, in my opinion, doing service is not just only about helping people. By doing service, you will meet a lot of people, you will get to know each one of them, you will know the story of different people's lives as well as their different perspectives. By knowing their story and perspectives, we can learn a lot of things from them that can or may apply in our life.
Oh, that's nice. What really struck me was Mrs. Rodonia de Guzman's passion for service. What really struck me was her saying that as long as her mind can do it and her body permits to be of service, she wouldn't stop. I didn't know that a profound love to serve can give someone so much fulfillment and purpose. I can now affirm that as long as we have found something that we look forward to in life, we have found our meaning. And once we are able to arrive at this point, I guess our passion really just pours and overflows where our love for never wavers.
I couldn't agree more. The way Mrs. de Guzman talked about her service reminded me of my late grandfather. He was a doctor here in our small town that would accept food as payment for his services because the people here before did not have enough money for medications. He once told me that his purpose of being a doctor is not for money but for the service he gives to the people. When I get to be successful in the future, I want to be as passionate as they are in serving the community.
That's nice. How about you, Summer? What's your take?
For me, Zeal of service of people do have different intentions, yet these are not just service, but these are like how we help people and give them smiles in their faces. The interviewee in the video says that what she does gives her a higher sense of purpose and joy, which that it brings to everyone. That we also get to meet new people and establish relationships with others and understand their living situations. I remember doing all of these in the outreach programs, which makes me very happy, even doing the simplest things we can do. With our pandemic situation now, we have a lot of health workers sacrificing just to take care of COVID-19 patients, and I can also see that the other individuals are helping with this pandemic as well. Like a lot has donated foods and basic needs to people who have lost their jobs and income during the pandemic, and also like donations to like mask and PPE equipment given to the hospital that needed funds before.
In these trying times, it truly is fulfilling to be of service to others.
So I guess listening to what you guys have discussed and what I've learned in the experience I've been involved, serving a community really does provide a sense of accomplishment and purpose because it allowed me and I guess everyone else to be outside of their comfort zone to meet new people. So it actually doesn't hurt to go out once in a while. That when the pandemic eases up, since the last one I attended was creating the face shields when the pandemic first started. So I'm thankful for the life that was given to me, but given the opportunity to share my blessings with others, paying it forward and making connections with others, I guess it makes life feel a bit more peaceful and refreshing in a way.
I agree with you on that, Sandro. Not everyone has the means to share what they have simply because they only have enough for themselves.
Yes, and we should be thankful that we have the privilege to help those who are in need.
You know what, guys? Creating this podcast has been really eye opening for me, and it has made me revisit what service means to me in my life. Ever since the pandemic started, there have been barely any opportunities for me to participate in any kind of volunteerism since everything has gone online. But this activity jumpstarted my life of volunteerism again. Having the ability to work on this podcast and meet Daniel's grandmother has given me a fresh insight into what service really means. This motivated me to get back into volunteering to help people in need. Little by little, I already do this through online donations, but I want to find a place where I can volunteer to help others, such as packing relief goods for those affected by natural calamities.
Same here as well, Zach. What I long for is the face-to-face implementation of everything we have learned in LCLS1, such as the LaSalle and core value of zeal for service towards others. It is true that we can apply this in our own homes, as towards our family members and friends during this pandemic. Such examples would be being there to listen to your friends, online when they need someone to vent to, along with assisting in our own household chores to make our parents smile. These may seem ideal and applicable, especially with the pandemics still around in our country. But for me, carrying zeal for service out of our comfort zones in the outside world would be a closer way to imitate what our patron saint, Saint John Baptist de la Salle, did for the youth and marginalized during his time.
Wow, guys, my grandmother would feel like super overwhelmed from all your realizations from her from that short interview. She was the one who inspired me to be of service. My family, friends, and I organized outreach programs before, and I volunteered for organizations back in high school. If it wasn't for her, maybe I wouldn't have this side of me to always want to help. But what had me the most, though, was when my grandmother said that we should serve with humility and genuineness, that we must do so unconditionally. And even though a lot of people have been financially tight due to the pandemic, she showed me how a lot of people would still go out of their way to give. It was truly inspiring to see a community work together to help each other. I can't even describe in words the feeling I get when we are serving the chapel in the community and seeing people do the same. The feeling is like indescribable yet irreplaceable.
Well, I guess we had a very meaningful podcast for everyone today, Belle.
Oh, we certainly did. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to do this.
I am delighted as well. Now that we are nearing the end of our term, it's nice to be able to sit down and look back at our Lasallian values.
True. We have achieved a lot for our podcast today. And I think this is where we conclude. Once again, I am Belle.
And I am Laris signing off. Till our next podcast.
Bye.
Bye.